What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Inside Zone. Look, this is a great time of year. I think outside of like late fall, where you got, basketball kicking off, and you got midway through the NFL season, and baseball is winding down, and kind of got that stuff going on. This is probably the best time of year for sports, with the exception of no live NFL football. But you got NCAA March Madness kicking up next week. You got that conference playoffs for NCAA. Now women's basketball is just as or more exciting than men's college basketball. Just so many different things out there. The NFL free agency period now has become a league of its own, a season of its own. And here's what makes it so exciting, right? You got a player like Nick Chubb, who's been the face of the Cleveland Browns franchise. No matter how much money they gave to Deshaun Watson or they've given to Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb is still Cleveland. Nick Chubb still is the face of what makes Cleveland Cleveland as far as a football franchise. Hard hat, puts his boots on every day, goes to work, doesn't do a lot of trash talking, just grinds it out and makes it happen. That's Nick Chubb, right? So Nick Chubb is what I call a silent leader. He's the guy that people follow within the locker room, on the field, and he doesn't do a lot of talking. He's not a leader by talking like some of the guys in the NFL. He's a leader by example. And he's what I also call a culture changer, right? Nick Chubb, coming from Georgia, going to the Cleveland Browns, didn't know how to lose, right? And still doesn't know how to lose, right? A guy like that, winning is expected. So when you put a guy like that into a locker room where not working hard in practice or not going all out in the weight room is foreign. And you don't want to disappoint a guy like that, right? You don't want to show up and everybody's working hard because they're following Chubb and you're the one guy sitting on the bench telling jokes, right? So I say that to say this, right? So there are a lot of teams out there looking at Nick Chubb to potentially bring him in. Nick Chubb, in my opinion, still has 2 or 3 good years, even though he's at the back of his prime. He has 2 or 3 good years, maybe a couple of Pro Bowl years at that if he stays healthy. He was on that road last year, to be honest with you, even though he was recovering from the knee injury. So the Dallas Cowboys and the Oakland Raiders with Pete Carroll are 2 teams that are potentially looking at bringing in Nick Chubb as a free agent. I got it, right? That's cool. Oakland, and you got Dallas. Both teams are in desperate need of changing their cultures around and getting some offensive production. But here's one I want to throw out there to you guys. The Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have 2 starting running backs in the backfield right now. The Atlanta Falcons have Tyler Allgeier and Bijan Robinson. Bijan is obviously the number 1. He's kind of the all-around player that can catch and do everything out of the backfield. But Tyler Allgeier needs touches. He's that guy. So one thing that I was thinking about, right? So the Atlanta Falcons, instead of letting Tyler Allgeier's contract run out, one thing that the Falcons could look at is, if they're not already doing it, which I would hope Terry Fontenot is, using Tyler Allgeier as trade bait somewhere to get some more defenders, get some more players on that defensive side of the ball in the door. Then that leaves Bijan needing help in the backfield. That's where Nick Chubb comes in at, right? To bring Nick Chubb home to Georgia, to have his hometown and folks in the University of Georgia be able to come watch Nick Chubb every week. Also, that 1-2 punch with Nick Chubb and Bijan Robinson would be crazy. I think that could be a situation where you can have 2 1,000-yard rushers, and it takes some pressure off of Penix as well. So let me know what you guys think. Just want to throw that out there. Like, subscribe.